At the end of your life, what will be your legacy? What will you leave behind for future generations? For the world, join the World Messenger, Izabela Lundberg, each week as she brings you a new distinguished guest from the business, sports, or entertainment world to share their success, their struggles, and their lessons. They will share their insights into current hot topics that affect everyone. Izabela facilitates an intimate, vulnerable environment to find the true value of humanity and real leadership. Are you ready for your legacy? The legacy that matters?
Hello, my beautiful friends. It's Izabela Lundberg here at the World Messenger, and I'm inviting you for another epic episode of Legacy Leader Show. Today, I have a very special guest joining me from Dubai, and he is a very accomplished businessman in family real estate, and so many aspects of his work is actually creating amazing, beautiful buildings and new residence for people that are coming to live in Dubai. But before he fulfilled that dream, family dream, and working hand in hand with his father, he also started from very interesting background and very humble beginnings that really turned his life many times upside down. And before, obviously, he built Azizi Development Construction Company, and as a chairman of the Azizi Group, I wanted to share what takes to have a grit and grace and make magic happen. Without further ado, let me introduce you to Farhad Azizi. Farhad, kif halik?
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for the very generous introduction. Good to meet you.
You're very welcome. Thank you again for opportunity to bring you on the Legacy Leader Show and have a chance to speak with you and unpack not only what's happening right now in Dubai and how exciting this chapter of your life is. But before we dive into these exciting things, we also want to show people, how did you get to Dubai in first place?
Well, okay, so I'm originally from Afghanistan. I was born 38 years ago in Kabul. And from day one, and I mean literally from day one, I personally went through some struggles, but every struggle has made me a better person, has made me stronger. So I was the first child of 7 children. My parents have 7 children, and I'm the eldest child. And I wasn't breathing as I came to the school. Then they got all panicked, the doctors and the nurses, and they put me under the machine to do whatever so that I can be fine. And I was fine in a few minutes, but they damaged my left arm. So my left arm is almost 50% functional. That has taken me to the world of sports, where I always wanted to be fit and make my hand and my arm and my whole shoulder very functional. So this is just how I think this is an example of how one thing leads to another, and then a lot of good can come out of it. So actually, if it wasn't for my arm, I wouldn't be exercising and as a hobby now, and it's something I truly love. So being born in Afghanistan itself, that country it has an amazing, beautiful landscape, but it's a country with a lot of war, and it's a war-torn country and a lot of struggles. And we were, we had very humble beginnings. My father has studied law. He was a prosecutor, lawyer working for the government. And I was about 6 years old or 5 when the war broke in Afghanistan, a civil war. And my father had no option but to leave the country because he was working for the government, which was falling apart. So he moved to the neighboring country, Uzbekistan. And we stayed back with my grandparents. And by then we're already 6 or 7 siblings, and we're in Kabul. The war has started, and I was attending grade 1. My school was bombed, so schools were shut. We were moving from city to city in the country because a lot of people were migrating to places where it was a bit more peaceful. It was a bit safer. And that whole moving, migrating from city to city lasted about 2 to 3 years because there was no schooling basically. I didn't go to school. I was growing, but I wasn't going to school, and we were struggling just to survive. And my father back in Uzbekistan was looking for a job and work. He didn't speak the Russian language. His law diploma wasn't, being accepted. So he struggled, and this is in 1989. He struggled quite a bit, bringing the bread to the table at the same go. So he eventually started doing a trading business with just $500 that he borrowed from friends and family. And the trading really picked up because at that time the USSR was falling apart. So all of these countries had a big deficit of trade. So that played in his favor, and a lot of hard work and some luck. So things worked out very well. And he took us out, the whole family, of Afghanistan, and we went to Tashkent, Uzbekistan. In Tashkent, even though I was already 8 or 9, I was put in grade 1 because I didn't speak the Russian language or the Uzbek language, local language. So I was in grade 1. I was bigger than all the other kids. I didn't mind, but I was happy that I could restart. I did grade 1 and 2 in Uzbekistan, picked up the Russian language, spoke it fluently, had a lot of friends, and life was going normal until 2.5 years after my dad said that, this country's not going to work for us. I'm having to move the family to Dubai. So, yeah, big change, because in Dubai, the language is English and Arabic. The official language is Arabic, but English is widely spoken. So, and Dubai is very organized, very strict. It has very functional infrastructure. So when we moved to Dubai, I was, and my siblings as well, all of it, but I had the biggest problem because I was already aged enough to go to a much higher grade of schooling. So when I was introduced to schools, they told me that you have to go to grade 8 based on your age. So I was hoping I would start from scratch again, go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But actually, I went from grade 2, which I had done in Tashkent, to 8. So I skipped 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Wow.
Yes. So when the first class I fit into a Mawakif school, an American school, American curriculum, there was a French teacher speaking French, and I had no clue what language he's speaking because I didn't speak French, Arabic, or English. For 2 months, I didn't even know if this is a French class or Arabic class or English. That's how little English I spoke. I couldn't even introduce myself in the class, but the school helped me a lot. I had special classes. I had a teacher that would come at home. I would be studying to sometimes 11 o'clock at night. And so one thing led to another. I knew that I had no option, but I really put a lot of effort. The school put in effort, my parents put effort. And by grade 10, I was among the ordinary students. And in fact, grades 10, 11, and 12, I was awarded as a distinguished student. I was scoring 90% and above. And I spoke the English language, I picked up French, and I picked up some Arabic, and I was doing math and algebra and geometry, and I was like among the top 10% in my class. And that's when I met university representatives from America in my school, recruiting students, and I met a few. I applied to a few of those universities. In fact, 2 universities only. I applied to the University of Tulsa in Oklahoma to go and study, and also Purdue in Indiana. I got accepted to both, but wow. I felt comfortable in the University of Tulsa because of the site and the campus. I've never been to America at that stage. I've never been to university, but as I was reading through the brochure, and the lady was very, very friendly. So I chose the University of Tulsa to be my place and study. So
that is amazing.
I had to do the SAT 1, SAT 2, the TOEFL exam, the language exam. All of those were done, and all. So I was the first child and the first person in our family to go to another country, travel so far away. And I remember flying Emirates Airlines straight to New York. I didn't even know if there was a difference between New York, New Jersey, and New York. I thought maybe there is a misspelling or something. But I remember landing in New Jersey and then taking a connecting flight to Dallas, from Dallas to Tulsa. And there I was in Tulsa, Oklahoma in July 2001. And I was the first Afghan student in the University of Tulsa. So they have this thing called the freshman orientation year, week or something. And I was called on stage. They said that this person has made the university have 91 nationalities studying in this university, and we're very proud that we have an Afghan student, and this is his name, this is him, and everybody was clapping. I was obviously very timid, and I was all blushing, but so it started very smooth, but September 11th happened after 2 months. And that was a very, very shocking, very sad day. I remember going to my class, and nobody was in the class. Everybody was in the corridor looking at this small television screen, and there was these buildings falling apart with a lot of dust, and it looked something like, it looked like something really is going wrong, and the university was shut that day. Then the struggles started where Afghanistan was in the news, Middle East was in the news, and the University of Tulsa is known for its engineering college, petroleum engineering. They are one of the best. So there were a lot of Saudis and a lot of Emiratis and a lot of Kuwaitis and Bahrainians who were sponsored by the government to study there. The government decided to call all their students back because they felt it would be safer. So I spoke to the university. They told me, because you're holding an Afghan passport, when you go back, you may have struggled getting another visa to the United States. So it's your choice. I spoke to my parents. They told me, because you were on the ground, you decide. I decided to stay back. So I think that's one of the best decisions I took. I stayed back.
Yes.
And
so you're able to complete a degree by staying back?
I stayed back. I completed my degree. But what happened was magical afterwards. I met some of the most wonderful people in the university, in Tulsa, in America. I don't remember spending a Thanksgiving or a Christmas or a New Year or an Easter alone. I was never alone. I was always surrounded, invited to their homes. We used to make, I know how to make a turkey now. Thanksgiving. I know everything about Christmas, and I still have a Christmas tree every Christmas in my house now. I became so familiar with the culture and the society, and there was this one lady telling me that, look, we know you were not part of all of this. We like you, we care for you. Please don't feel bad. and I'm thinking that you're such wonderful people. I actually felt so welcomed in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in America in general, and I did graduate, and I did get my diploma in international business and languages, and it was some of the best times. But then I didn't stop. I went to Boston, and I got my MBA from Suffolk University. So I spent a total of 7 years in America, but I did go back once or twice after things, the dust had settled and things were better, and I was able to get my visa coming back, so that whole journey in America was a very inspiring one, because I had just turned 18, so I was open to fresh experience, fresh people, fresh the way of looking at things, and that's where I learned a lot about how a government works, or about America, about so many nationalities and cultures, and like it was just an amazing experience. Came back to Dubai and started working in the family business. And the family business is into 3 areas basically: banking, real estate and trading. So,
Mm.
and our business had all started with a $500 that my father had borrowed from his friends. And my father, we
That is
jokingly,
amazing.
he's our Steve Jobs and Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. He's one of those people that doesn't talk too much. He's quiet, but he's super intelligent. He's an amazing person, and he told me, look, we got to go to the roots, and the roots are in Afghanistan. So we had two banks in Afghanistan, Azizi Bank and the Afghanistan Islamic Bank. He said, I think I should start with the banking. So now I came from this wonderful country, coming to another wonderful city like Dubai. I had to fly to Afghanistan, and Afghanistan is a whole different ballgame because it wasn't safe as much. It was, even though the Taliban were not there, but there was a lot of these attacks happening, and you needed to have an armored car, security guards, and a lot of safety precautions had to be taken. So was going back and forth. I would spend the weekends in Dubai working in Afghanistan, and I put all of that American education into work. It was all theories. I was all theories that I had to convert into practice. And I actually was at one point teaching students, new hirees. I was teaching them about banking and teaching them about accounting and management and marketing. And then the conversation would break into like politics and religion and America and this and that. So it was an interesting time, but I think the struggles with the way Afghanistan was very dysfunctional as a country. There's no proper court and systems and electricity or anything. That again comes to making you stronger. Afghanistan gave me so much. As I looked at things from the roots, I was able to look at construction from how it's done from the roots. I was looking at banking and how it's done from scratch. When those banking professionals and softwares are not there, how do you do banking in a very manual way? How do you do trading in a manual way when the bank guarantees do not exist and the letter of credit does not exist? Like all of those things that we take for granted, like a calculator, for example. What if the calculator was not there and you had to do it all manually? So Afghanistan gave me that side of looking at business and how things were so automated in America and in Dubai and the UAE, but in Afghanistan it was so manual. Then things became really gloomy in 2008 when the global crisis had happened. And it was our business was struggling. Everybody was struggling, and to make things worse, the worst thing happened in our family is that my brother, who was also in America wanting to study, both of his kidneys had failed. He's an 18-year-old man, and his kidneys were functioning only 3% and 5%. So on one side is this crisis, business difficulties. On the other side, we heard this news of my younger brother going through a very dangerous illness in a very difficult time. So I remember very well that all of those business struggles looked so tiny, like a Mickey Mouse, compared to what was happening to a family member. Because that's when I realized what is more important. It's your family that matters. It's your siblings. I was more like a father to my siblings because my dad was always busy with his business ventures. So I was very close to all my siblings, especially this brother, Farhad. And now he's okay. He had to go through kidney transplant, dialysis, unfortunately. Then, but that struggle in itself again came back to making you stronger. I learned so much about the medical world, about transplants, about dialysis, about later on, another sibling became sick and she had cancer, all of this chemo. And so it's all of these struggles that actually takes you to a whole different level. And it's so important not to fall for those struggles and get depressed and get on some crazy medications. And give up on things and start doing all unhealthy things because you want to hide from them, but actually facing them face to face and saying, okay, maybe this was destiny. Let me find a solution. With all of these different things happening,
you always seems like a focusing on how to solve the problems and
how to solve the problem. Yeah, when you're solving the problem, what happens is that you pick so much knowledge, you pick up so many new skills, you pick up new hobbies, habits. Like I know a lot about the medical world because of these struggles of family members being sick. I know a lot about banking. I know about culture because of traveling. I picked up so many languages. I speak 8 languages, 4 of those fluently, and the other 4 enough that I can carry on the conversation, do my thing. But with culture, with language, you learn the culture. You learn about the food. You learn about
traditions, people,
traditions, the culture, all of their unspoken rules. Like I speak fluent Hindi. When I go to India, I feel like I am so Indian. I know their music, I know their movies, I know their food. I don't need to break the ice. Now, when I go to Germany, now today, I on paper I'm a German citizen because that's where I met my wife. My wife is from there, so our second home is Frankfurt, Germany. When I'm in Germany, I feel so German. Now, Germany, India, they're so different, but I feel German in Germany. I feel American in America. I feel Emirati in Dubai. I feel Indian in India. It's like, and I feel, of course, Afghan in Afghanistan. But I think with all of these struggles, you pick up language, you know about the whole work environment, about how to work with people differently. You meet somebody from the Middle East and you want to do business, you have to be so indirect, feet around the bushes, and it's more about showing respect and all that. You meet somebody from the Netherlands, oh my God, you have to be so straightforward, like boom, 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 boom. Like that in itself. There are people who read books about it. Okay, how do I do business in Germany? How do I do? But actually, when you dive deep and you picked it through first-hand experience, it's beautiful because it's not anymore a theory where you're like, okay, I figured it out. So I was a bit more beating around the bushes with the Arabs, and I was a bit more direct with the people from Holland or Germany. Actually, you don't. You switch automatically to be more European or to be more American or to be more Indian or to be more Arab or to be more Afghan. You switch without any kind of hesitation.
Like a blink.
Like a blink, right? So it's oh my God. So now I'm obviously I'm in Dubai, and we have this business, and we're in a business which I absolutely love. Is we're developing real estate. Real estate, a lot of people look at it differently. Okay, building homes, technology, what the heck. I look at it more like a emotional business. Is an emotional buy. You fall in love with a house, you raise family, you have kids, you age in that, people may die in that house, people may, they get old in that property. So it's a very emotional business on one sense. I always felt like that when I see some people that they got their home and they moved in and they're so happy. And they're like, look, my child's bed is going to be there, my room is going to be there, my office is going to be there. I get these goosebumps because I'm thinking, okay, I played a little bit of a role making that happen because this person is going to have a good life, I hope, in that property. So for me, real estate is much more meaningful than just building another box, another shelter. It's a very emotional thing. So and I always speak to our team here, the architects and the construction team, that look, imagine this is your own home. What would you not want in it? Please do not be careless, do not be in a rush. Be paying attention to every little single thing, because there will be a family, there will be somebody living in this. So we all go out for work, for play, but we'll come back and sleep somewhere, whether it's a hotel or a house, but there is a shelter, there's a roof on top of us, most of us. So everybody has a need for a home, and as a developer, we build all kind of properties, whether it's commercial, residential, shopping mall, but the majority is residential. So it's a very interesting business. It's something I truly love.
Seems like you had an amazing trajectory in your life. And I love earlier when you were sharing how things started and how from one misfortune and lack of opportunity due to civil war, you were able to leverage what you could and shine, picking up the language, connecting with the different cultures, and then be able to skyrocket when you were given chance and opportunity to study. And not only finish degrees. You know how many people finish degrees, but they're not able to apply much in practically. And you seems like have this amazing skill set. Not only you can learn about it, but now you can practically apply and look at what you accomplished. First of all, kudos for this amazing share of your story and your journey. But I wanted to ask you, obviously you mentioned your father many times, how he was instrumental role model, how much he gave and pushed and also create opportunities because of who he is. And since, like, as they say, apple doesn't fall far away from tree. And now you are doing something beautiful, helping people in Afghanistan, making huge impact and difference also in Dubai, but also everywhere else you go. So what would be, you would say, the most fundamental reason behind all of that?
All right, so my dad is not very talkative. He's usually in his own thoughts. He's very focused. He's a very kind man. But from time to time, after I test him a lot, he ends up talking and he opens up. And there's a few things I've learned a lot from him. I follow in his footsteps. You know, I have this belief that a good leader was a good follower. So initially he was a good follower, then became a good leader. So when I look at him, I wanna be his follower. I wanna follow, I wanna learn from him. And so hopefully that I would have the fortune of leading something in the future. But I look at him and I have a lot of respect. But the few things he told me, which they may sound a bit funny, but look what the example he gave me, and he got into my mind. He said, look, when there is a fight between a cat and a chicken, who wins? And I'm like, what do you mean? Of course the cat is much more, you know, agile and strong, it has all the teeth and the so he said no. He said when the chicken is chased all around and the chicken reaches to the corner, she will turn around and fight back like there is no tomorrow, and that cat will be chased away like nothing else. And I'm like, well, so what does that mean? He said, when you are in a corner in life and you are struggling, that's when you become very brilliant. That's when you come up with the most amazing ideas. And he says, in my life, I came very brilliant, mentally came up with ideas when I was in a situation where I was cornered. And he was cornered many times. He has lost his businesses many times. He's lost siblings to war. He has seen so many changes. He has seen his home country go to demolish. Like those things have put him in a position where he has become much stronger because of the things he's gone through. And then as I got to know him better, the other thing he was telling me, I said, I know, Dad, I want to do my own business, but I don't want to do mistakes. So tell me, like, what is the first few basic rules and da da da. And he was telling me something that was not very descriptive. He said, you have to be very brave. Okay, he said, my son, you have to be brave. And I'm thinking, what the heck, like, okay, you're coming from Afghanistan, so everything's about bravery and fight. What are you talking about? He said, no, you have to be brave about being able to lose money. And I thought to myself, okay, what does that mean? So what I did is, without telling anybody, because I wanted to be a bit more careful, I started a couple of businesses in Frankfurt, Germany, to see how things would go. Okay, if I didn't make it, I could just not tell anybody. But I did some development in Frankfurt, Germany, and in some of the projects, I lost money. And when I lost money, I was remembering what my dad was saying. He was saying you have to be brave enough to lose. You can't always win. So when you lose, you cannot break, you cannot get depressed that I lost. So he said you have to not be in love with money and things, because they all come and go. You are born naked, you leave naked from this planet. So you can't take all of these things with you, whether it's your home or your car or all your wealth and bank accounts. So you have to be ready to lose it and gain it again, lose it and gain it. So when I went through some of those losses, that's when I came back to him. I said, Dad, let me tell you, I was brave and thank you. It helped a lot. I lost money and I didn't mind because I learned and experienced from it. So no matter how many times he said, he told me more, he elaborated. He said, look, you can fail so many times. He said, the number of times I've fallen is much more than the number of times I've succeeded. But every time I fell, I didn't go depressed and crazy and went home all upset, moody. Maybe I was moody for a day, he said, but then the next day I woke up and I said, okay, I'm going to have another chance at this. And so those words, when I hear him talk, when I hear him take I see a lot of action in him. As I said, he doesn't talk a lot, but the steps he takes, the heart he has for taking those risks sometimes, it's amazing. And he doesn't have that love for money, but actually because he doesn't have it, he's getting more and more successful financially because he wants to do better. He wants to build a better home, a better bank, better trading business. The next business he wants to get into, for example, hospitality. We want to build the best hotels. It's not anymore about which hotel is going to be more profitable and the revenues and the numbers. It's about, okay, these hotels are actually missing this and that. Why can't we make a better product? So that is something I truly get inspired with. I like people who are focused on making things better. And in fact, one of the countries where I see a lot of this is in Germany. The Germans have this amazing persona. They complain so much. Oh my God, but they're complaining about getting it better. You know, you're not happy with this thing. You want to make it better. That's why they make some of the best cars. They make airplanes. They make the best technology. Is because they're not. They always want to have a step better. And I see that in my dad a lot as well. So yeah, so he's an inspiration for me. I can talk for hours about him.
That is beautiful because we all have a room for improvement and we're all work in progress, but we're also all masterpiece. And you obviously know where you're master of, but the fact that you've seen opportunities in this world and opportunities where you can make an even bigger impact and do greater good. I mean, I'm just being blown away how much you donate and support for different initiatives around the world and specifically with different collaborations and whatnot, and then how much you really are looking after people in future generation, which is fantastic, as you were mentioning how much you trained people around financial literacy, for example, which is hugely missing even everywhere in the world. So just even here in the United States, I want to say, but it's also beautiful to see, as you pointed out, where did we stem from? Where are our roots? Where are our values? And how those values help us to lead in today's world. And what I'm really finding interesting in your values and your mission and vision of your company and how you leading with your father today. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that? And what do you think as a result attributed this tremendous success and recognition in Dubai with royal family, with one of the best real estate builders, not only with amazing, beautiful designs in quality, but also how you treat your employees?
I think you know, when I first started working with my dad, I was observing him a lot, and I was really, I'm a father now. I have children of my own. I have 2 children, a boy and a girl, and I think it's absolutely important for parents to be extremely careful, regardless of what age, with their actions, because the kids, their children will observe them and learn from them. So when I started working with him, I was 23 years old or 24. And at that age, until today, I observe him and watch him, and I learn from him. And if he has a habit that is not so good, I would look at that as well. And if he has good habit, I will look at that. I see both. So yeah. I was very fortunate to have somebody where he was doing things which inspired me. For example, when you mentioned about giving charities and helping others, he was always doing it, but under the radar. Like he was never visible. He didn't want the credit and stuff. Then we had a conversation. I said that if we make this public, then others may be also motivated to do something similar. So you actually are making the charity, the support and help better. So we've been always involved in it. Like the American University in Afghanistan was established by my father. He was the chairman. He donated a lot to the university, and he was on the board there. You know, Laura Bush who had opened the university. That university is now not there, but for the longest time we were sponsoring students. We have built a lot of facilities to train the young Afghans on anything free of charge. But it was mostly about banking, and whether they worked in our bank or others, it didn't matter. They were getting free training. We would get professionals from all over to come to Afghanistan and train these young people. We had situations where a lot of Afghan families were too concerned about their girls going to work because they felt it was not safe. So we provided facilities where they'll be picked from their home, drop to work, and drop back to their home in front of their doorsteps. So they felt very comfortable sending their girls to our bank working there. So we had 30 to 40% of our staff were female. That's unheard of in Afghanistan. So like when I see him doing that, I really feel that okay, I'm working with the right person. All that. So he's what now? He's 62 years old, and he's wanting to to look after himself, relax, take a step back. And there's a lot that I'm looking at in a way where I want to take his inspiration and make it better, take his vision and make it better. So I am now deeply involved in the family business, and we want to do something where it has a wow factor, whether it's for our staff or whether it's for the people who are our customers. And Dubai is all about wow. If it's
Yes.
not wow, then bling bling.
And your buildings and your architecture, your
So
creativity.
we're building the second tallest tower on the planet. So Dubai is going to have Burj Khalifa, the tallest, and the second tallest. And work has started on this property designs and building permits. So this is going to be a very tall tower. It's an amazing tower. The hotel at the top, there is the residential, there's commercial, shopping mall at the first few floors. But then there's other master communities, which has every single thing where it's a full community with thousands of homes and villas and mansions and water features, shopping malls, schools, hospitals, kindergartens, sporting facilities. That is in Dubai South. It's an area here next to the new airport. And we're just coming out of the Riviera project, which was another 76 buildings. And we have finished delivering phase 1 and 2. Phase 3 is being delivered by July and August, and phase 4 next year. That had more than 16,000 homes in it. An amazing project, but we've been scattered throughout Dubai. We're on the Palm, we're in Sports City, Studio City, we're in Al Farjan. So the development business has been always there. Now with the situation in Afghanistan, with the Taliban coming back, a lot of banks have been struggling, but our banks, both of them, are still open for business and still functioning. So there's been a lot of support from the Azizi Group in Dubai, helping them stay on their feet and continue functioning. So that business is still there. The development business is also in Afghanistan, and we're looking into expanding internationally. So internationally, I personally love America, but America is a bit far, so I had to go to the next best, Europe. So we're looking at Europe. We're looking at opening, a water factory in Switzerland. We're looking into doing iconic developments in Frankfurt, in London. We're looking into doing hospitality projects in France. So hospitality is building hotels. So there's a lot of that international expansion, but we will be a Dubai-based company going abroad and leaving our footprint there. And again, with the same mindset of doing something better. So, and we're a big company now. I mean, here At Azizi Group, we're almost 12,000 staff. And Azizi Developments, where I am based at the moment, we're 4,000 plus now. And we do everything. So unlike some developers who just buy the land and then they give it to a designer, they give it to a contractor, they give it to a sales team, it's all outsourced and they have their own small core team. We're not like that. We're deep into this. We have our own design team, we have our own construction team, we have our own facility maintenance team, we have our sales team, we have our customer service team. Every single thing that may be required for a development business to be functional is within the same umbrella. So when clients step in, they don't have to really be worried about, okay, who's gonna collect my rent, who's gonna maintain my property when it's delivered and all that. It's all within one umbrella. We sometimes outsource architects that do concepts because we want fresh ideas out of Italy and France and England and all that. They come with fresh ideas, but otherwise everything is in-house, and this has made things much more efficient for us, and the quality is in our control. We buy all the materials, so whether it's the tile or the kitchens or the electrical systems, mechanical systems, it's all being procured by our own team. So that's the setup of the real estate part, and I'm also involved in the international expansion. But we always work as a family, as a team. I think one of the most important thing for me personally is I do not do micromanagement. We have a team that have wonderful experience. They're good people and they know what they're doing and they're experts in their area. So for me to come and say, hey, why don't you do it like that and like that, I would make myself exhausted and make myself look bad actually when they know better. So I'd rather sit back and say, come to me when I can help. But otherwise do your thing the way you think. And they get much more, you know, they feel much more comfortable when they know that their department is in their control. So I don't like the whole micromanagement or others when they do so, because I think the outcome is so centralized. I would prefer a decentralized system, but according to one central system with one vision. However, everybody should know what they're doing. Everybody's mature enough, even if they have a simple job, they know their area pretty well. And there's others with very complex job, and then you come on top of them being bossy that, look, I want you to do it like that just so that you can score some. I think that is quite inefficient way of working. So that's my approach to this.
I love your passion. I love your vision. I love how you're now transforming not only Middle East, but you're going to be transforming Europe. I was a European transplant here in the United States. I'm super excited to see also your footprint there. But with everything that you so far accomplished and things you already have in works, I'm just curious, what's left in the bucket list? And always wanted to know, in terms of your legacy, what would you like to be remembered and known by, not only by your beautiful wife, your beautiful children, your beautiful family that you have with your siblings, your father, but just, and of course, for a representation of Afghani people, but what would you really deep down with everything so far say, oh my goodness, I feel like I did it because that was my dream to come true?
I think that if I could just put it in one single word, that's absolutely dear to me is the word tolerance. When you're tolerant, you're patient, you're forgiving, but at least that's how I see myself. You become so much more than just another entrepreneur, businessman, or family person, or this and that. It's when you cannot manage yourself and you don't have the tolerance and patience and you're very selfish. I think that creates so many more problems. So many more struggles, and you're never happy. Being grateful. So the word grateful, patient, tolerance, all of these is what I personally get very passionate about. I get very happy when I meet people that are like that. So I'm attached to people who are like that, maybe because I want to be like that. And I think from the thing that I could pass to the next generation or my friends and families and our colleagues here is about how to be more tolerant of others. We're all different. We're all we come from different backgrounds. We speak different languages, different cultures, different. We may have all different challenges, physical challenges, or illnesses, and if we are not tolerant, then we're just absolutely an inconvenience. I would like to come to my home, my workplace, and be liked because I'm not an inconvenience for others. I don't want to be the boss that comes and everybody's like, oh my God, he's here again. Oh, I wish he was on holiday and never comes back. So it's very, I think it's very important for people who are in a position to work with others and lead others and manage others to be kind and tolerant and accepting. So if I put it in one word again, it'll go back to tolerance.
I love that. And that one word, it means so much and actually is profound, because if we have more tolerance individually and collectively, we all will be in such a better place. Don't you think so?
120%.
And in closing, do you mind, Farhad, letting people that are watching and listening where they can find about you and how they can get in touch? Because obviously you're part of Azizi Development Group. We can share the website and all of that. But for people truly that connected and resonate your story, your vision, your goals and objectives, and wanted to see some of your projects and be involved, where they can go.
Well, I'm mostly based in Dubai, even though I travel a lot for work, but I'm on Shabbat Road in our office mostly. And I'm out on social media portals, like especially LinkedIn. I check my LinkedIn myself, even though I get help with the posts sometimes because of the time, shortage of time, others help me. But when it comes to checking my accounts and messages, I do on Instagram as well. And I'm very accessible. I've always been a people person. We're all social creatures. I feel comfortable being around people. I'm quite accessible, and our offices are here. If there are people interested in coming to Dubai, maybe wanting to buy a home, they don't need to buy anything from us, but our team can advise and guide them, and we can tell them more about Dubai, because this is like the New York of Middle East. So when you want to be with the right people, getting the right advice and the right guidance, because buying a home is one of the biggest investments. It's one of the most expensive things, and it's a big decision. So you see, there are people in America, in Europe, whoever is listening to this, and they want to pop by to our office. If I don't get a chance and have the opportunity to meet them, others in my team here we'll be very happy to support them on that. So we're based in Dubai. Very easy to find us on our website, Azizi Developments. You can Google my name. These days you have to be out on the internet to be visible.
Yes, you are. That's fantastic. And in closing, one thing, if you want to share about Dubai, what is super exciting in your mind right now that you can say, from driver's seat that you're in, that you're shaping with your family, amazing, not only buildings, but just beautiful residents, and with this great vision, what would you say it's one thing that you're super excited about, and for everybody that never experienced Dubai, that wanted to come?
Oh, Dubai is 92% expats. So people from all over have gathered into this beautiful city. You can practice your language, your culture, your religion, and nobody really bugs you with anything. You have churches, you have mosques, you have temples. Everything is here, and it's truly a reflection of what I am. I speak all these languages and all of this culture. I can find all of these restaurants, and Dubai has all of that to offer. So Dubai is very multicultural, multi-ethnic, and very welcoming, very open, very safe, very peaceful, very functional. So it'll be difficult to find one word.
Thank you for listening to Legacy Leader Show. If you enjoyed the content and had a positive experience, then please leave us a positive rating. In addition, leave us a positive review whenever you are listening on whatever platform there might be. Make sure your friends and family also know about the benefit and value that we provide and what we have to offer. Cheers.